Hey everyone, JSD Cool here, and welcome to another episode of Coolcraft Season 6. In the last episode, I got to work building this here, what is effectively the brick factory here, although currently it's only up to producing the clay balls, as, well, it isn't even doing that currently, but it is ready to do that at any moment, as soon as I don't get stuck in the machinery. In addition to that, I also built this little concrete converter over here, but that is not impressive compared to this. In between episodes, I did do a little bit of work. First of all, I kept running the bone meal generator here to make sure this thing is full. It now is, and it is therefore ready for us to turn on. But I also came over here and installed the TNT duper upgrade to this blast chamber here, because it comes by default with a dispenser, which I'm not going to be bothered to fill up. So, without further ado, let's pull the lever and get this whole show on the road. Actually, before I do that, just, oh yeah, I also lit up this place a lot in between episodes. But yeah, just take a nice look at what this place looks like now without any of the actual trees or anything grown, because it's going to change a lot in, like, a hot second here. Anyhow, now that that's starting to crank, I can talk about what we're doing. In this episode, I am going to be primarily just finishing off the brick factory here, you know, adding a super smelter and doing all that. But that's going to actually require a bit of preparation. For instance, probably going to want to put the super smelter kind of like over here by the road, because like the other road just kind of like goes right under the drying part there. So over here, definitely gotta start digging this out. In other news, I've actually run the farm and stuff for a while, and yeah, first of all, you know, trees. I ended up apparently assembling this TNT duper wrong, so it wasn't actually blowing stuff up, which caused some issues where blocks of stone would be pushed into the line here, which was causing us to lose some water bottles at the mud converter. But that was pretty simple, just to fix that TNT duper. The other issue does not seem to be so easy to fix. So you see, the thing is, in the last season, if you remember, when I built this farm, there was an issue with specifically the middle stone generator right here, where it would occasionally push blocks of stone out for no discernible reason, and I was really confused as to why. But I figured out eventually, not that season, mind you, that it was because I rotated the schematic. Because, of course, directionality somehow affects things. So, this time I made sure not to rotate that schematic, and instead I rotated this schematic, which at first didn't seem to be a problem until it came time for stuff to start getting towards the output. And this half of the this half of the contraption, everything worked fine. All the blocks got pushed over and out completely correctly, no problems there. This side, on the other hand, had problems with these block conveyors here, where they were just getting all sorts of screwed up and pushing themselves and other stuff around, and yikes. And it's all because of its directional. Now, one potential solution could be to just flip the direction of all these block conveyors to be the other way, which means I'd have to change out a bunch of pistons and repeaters and such. And I could do that. Or I could just prevent blocks from going in this side of the contraption, as this contraption is way overkill for the amount of stuff. Like, usually with this configuration, after the very first platform, it's basically all clay anyway, and after that, it's very high chance that it's been turned into clay. And luckily, with the way this is designed, this side here gets pulled off of the closer column here, and also the push down sequence at the other end gets activated off of this side. So, all I should need to do is place an immovable block right here, and that will disconnect this side from the whole thing. So, I'm going to give that a try. Okay, scratch that. That did, my plan there didn't work, but I did, in fact, decide to go test this in creative mode as is, and it just worked. It wasn't actually having any issues pushing stuff out, so I don't know what possibly could have been the cause. So anyhow, now enjoy this time lapse of me building the super smelter. Alright, that was just a very quick and simple build of a super smelter here. And yeah, should be all good to go. Just gotta fill up on fuel here. So let's go over and collect some of that. Of course, that is acquired from the stone generation factory that we built at the beginning of the season. I don't think I'm going to be able to fill 6 shulker boxes with charcoal here. But I brought 6 just in case. Alright, and with that, I have dumped 6 shulker boxes of charcoal into this thing, which I don't know how much fullness that'll provide, but it'll provide some fullness. However much that might be. Alright, so I've decided to start testing out the clay production machine again, and it does, the end pushdown station does appear to be working, which is good. I think that the blast chamber is probably going to break a couple times before it works successfully, as that's my experience with this blast chamber, but it's still so much simpler than previous blast chamber designs. But anyhow, I was just kind of wandering around the landscape here, which is soon to be removed, next to this thing, and notice there's a ton of animals in this hole. Why are there so many animals specifically in this hole and nowhere else? Could someone please tell me that? This area that is eventually going to be a road has now been flattened, and all the animals are interestingly just hanging around the grass. I'm not entirely sure if this is the case, but I have a feeling like animals are naturally going to be more likely to be on grass, because like the hole was here. You can tell by the circular-ish outline of grass here. So I'm guessing that animals will kind of, I mean, I know sheep do, because obviously they eat grass. But I don't know about other animals. Obviously, some of them are going out there, but I think they just have a tendency to gravitate towards grass. Anyhow, that's a little bit unrelated. I'm now going to go and spend some time actually finishing the filling into the storage system. That includes this area where all the colored blocks go, which is why it's so big. I have configured most of the item filters for the storage system, apart from one specific giant area here, which is where all the color blocks are going to go, because there's a lot of different color blocks, and I'm going to need a bunch of different stuff to configure all of these item sorters here. So yeah, I'm going to slowly get working on that now. But there is a couple spaces where I've left some stuff blank. For instance, over here where most of my wood is going to be, and realistically, if I need to add anything else to the storage system, it's going to go here, because it's the only one I can really expand easily without having to rip out and replace a bunch of chests. Yeah, probably more wood type is going to need to go here anyway, based off the way I built this. And what I put in here. So a few of these filters here are unused. Over this way with the mob drops, we obviously have a slot which is blank for the nether star. We have in this area here, which is for food, which we don't really need much of. I also have a couple blank slots, as I have no idea what I was thinking of putting there. And I also don't have that many different food items currently available. And then right here, which is where all the lighting stuff goes, we have a slot open for beacons. So, yeah. That's pretty much the sorting system, apart from the colors section done. So now I guess we'll start building out the color section. Alright, so there's step 1, which is to, of course, mark out which color is going to go in each slot. And just conveniently that I could just put the colors on the floor here, and then they go up and down and up and down. Anyhow, now we actually start filling item sorters with various colored blocks. Alright, the wool, concrete, and concrete powder slots have been configured. Next up is glass. Alright, and I have finished by putting the terracotta and glazed terracotta in the system to whatever varying degrees they're actually going to ever fill. Any of these up will remain to be seen, but I believe with that, this entire storage system is basically finished with its configuration, so I can start putting, or actually just start filtering items through it. So actually, I guess I'll build like a pad of hoppers up there, and then just start dumping stuff from my current temporary storage room into the system. This is, you know, the very basic item input system that gets throttled through this lever here so I can turn it off when picking up shulker boxes or whatever, and I've filled my inventory up with all the shulker boxes. Well, almost all the shulker boxes, that I have. So let's just start getting items dumped in the system. I guess they don't go in technically until I've pulled that lever, but let's start setting down boxes and getting items ready to go. Alright, here's all the shulker boxes. And they're now flowing into the system. Alright, the storage system has now been running for a while, and I've managed to swap out some shulker boxes with new ones. Also found some more shulker boxes, which I've promptly loaded up and stuff, so I'm going to add on more to this input here, so I can just AFK here for a while to get a bunch of stuff going. Alright, there we go. Now this will probably take like 12 hours for all the stuff to filter through. I've still got a bunch of garbage there. But what I can do now actually is I can go take a look at the miscellaneous output chest and see what kind of items did I forget to en masse include a storage for. So, okay, so bone blocks and packed ice. I think with bone blocks we could probably fit that into bone meal or normal bones. Rest of the stuff here seems pretty generic. That's all random. I mean, furnaces maybe. Empty shulker box. Okay, one of those slipped through the system. Cool. Yeah, but it looks things that's all that's made it through to miscellaneous. So just like packed ice mainly, and then bone blocks. I don't know where I could really fit packed ice in though. They don't really. Packed ice doesn't really fit with any of these things, nor do I really have space. But we'll see. Many hours later, processing of items has finished into the storage system, and I will now. I should go through all of these miscellaneous chests, take everything out, then reorganize it in a way that it can actually be organized, move some things around, all that sort of stuff, because, you know, no one likes a messy miscellaneous chest. Alright, that has now been completed. Stuff is, well, apart from this chest, which is still just a lot of random junk, pretty well organized and just manually separated. I do probably gotta find space for all that stuff. In fact, magma I think I have a space for. Oh yeah, and also a bunch of dripstone from left over from the brick factory. So that is now the storage system basically finished. And for the little last bit in this episode, I am actually going to go work on acquiring a fair bit of netherite. After spending probably far too long using the machine to mine for netherite, I have now got a total of 23. I expanded it a little bit, but not really that much. I don't know why. I think it's the sheer number of, or sheer amount of lava in the area just not allowing me to get nearly as much netherite as I would normally. But anyhow, with that, I'm gonna have to say thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Please make sure to like and subscribe. Check out my game, which is linked in the description, and I will see you all in the next episode of Coolcraft Season 6. Bye!